What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Haven, a podcast where we focus on having healthy conversations about the world and our place in it. My name is Skylar Allen. I'm your host for this podcast, and today's topic is going to be focused around love. I chose this topic because if you're somebody living in America right now, you know how difficult things are right now. Your heart is probably hurting. You might be feeling a little bit directionless or helpless or hopeless. You might be feeling more pessimistic. You might be feeling scared. You're probably feeling angry, infuriated, rageful, which are all valid feelings. And amongst those heavy feelings, it can be easy to lose things like love and hope and light. So today's episode is going to focus on how to lean into that, especially in hard times where it can seem hard to find. I guess a good place to start this conversation is, what is love and what does that mean to you? For me, the first couple things that come to mind when I think about love are just some adjectives like forgiving, unconditional, healing, powerful, transformative, warm, kind. And these adjectives are all examples of things that we are probably yearning for right now as a collective. And so I want to talk about what it means to be that example and how to choose to show up in love, even when it's hard to feel for yourself, from yourself, or towards yourself from other people. And the very first piece of that, and being able to give or receive love, is to forgive, release, and heal things that have hurt you. People who have betrayed you or let you down or disappointed you in whatever way. All the wrongdoings that have happened in life that may have hardened your heart. It's important to forgive and release and let that go. And the forgiveness piece can start with and for yourself. To forgive other people so that you have the peace of mind to not let these things bombard your soul, weigh on your mind, weigh on your heart, weigh on your soul. It is okay to forgive people kind of selfishly. To forgive them, yes, but really to release yourself the burden of holding on to the things that they've done wrong to you. And the forgiveness towards the other person, is something that really happens when you've reached an enlightened state in love where, you know what, despite what you've done to me, I've been able to release it because I know that I deserve better. I'm not going to allow less. Thank you for the lessons that you've brought into my life. I hope better for you moving forward. And that's all it has to be. And then you just release it, and then you're not holding it anymore. Now, I know I made that sound really easy and straightforward and simple, which it can be, but it also requires a lot of emotional depth and processing. And there's probably some things that take time, definitely take time. I've had my biggest wounds. It took years to heal from, and then there was even points where I thought I was totally healed, and then something came up and I got really mad again or really sad, and I was like, okay, maybe there's some more work to be done there. So don't feel discouraged if you need some time. That's okay. You're allowed to take your time to heal, but it is also important that you do take that time to heal and not allow that time to make you feel distant or cold or bitter or detached from what love could be, what it's meant to be. So that's the first thing. We're going to work on our healing and letting love in and come out. And to that point of healing and how long that may take, that probably will take some focused effort to get to the place where you feel ready to express love in ways that are able to be received by others. Because you can do something in the name of love that's crazy. Love can make you do some crazy things. It can motivate us to finish projects. It could motivate us to be creative or create things. It could motivate us to be, retaliation is something that came to mind. It can motivate us to, in the wrong ways too. So I only bring these up as a scale to measure the capacity of love and all the ways that we can connect to it or be inspired by it. And although today's focus really is on the positive, I can acknowledge that there are things that go the other way, and that's not what I'm trying to promote. If you find yourself in a place where you're a little bit more in a retaliative or vindictive or vengeful mindset or spirit, I'm not even going to blame you for that because I get it and I've been there. But I am going to encourage you to heal and stick around, and hopefully this will help you do that. And also, just to promote myself as a healer, if you need any assistance in your journey of healing or opening up and forgiving people, I am a certified life coach and Reiki energy healer. So I do offer services around finding personal clarity, a dream life for your future, and coming up with action plans on how to achieve that so that your life is the most authentically aligned and impactful that it could be for you. Okay, now that I've plugged myself as a healer, let's get back to leaning into positively impacting the world and showing up with the right kind of love that is meant for healing and alchemizing and being powerful in way of being a light. And it's no secret that right now in America, there's a lot of tension and heaviness and anger and hurt feelings, to say the least, that we're dealing with. And it can be difficult to show up with any type of positivity or even want to feel that when you're empathically so upset about everything that's happening. But I just want to remind you how important it is to continue to choose love and light amongst the darkness, because you don't want to end up being on the same playing field of the people who are bringing us down. You want to rise above and be the example of what you actually want to see and be in the world. Be the change you wish to see in the world, I do believe is a quote by Gandhi. If you're listening to that, that means I fact-checked it, and it is in fact Gandhi. It's about showing up and actively being an example of the type of world that you want to live in and creating the space, the vibrations, and the opportunities for people to experience that from you and join you in it. As a little example, why I've started this podcast, not just this episode, but this podcast as its own project. It's why I started my business, Skyhaven Healing. It's why I've gotten more serious about posting on social media and trying to be a person that's creating a space for people to join me in this space of love and light and healing and having conversations about the world and our place in it and how we can come together to create a world that is more harmonious for all of us. And I've been told many times that that's an ambitious dream and that the world can't change overnight and that there's nothing I can do in this lifetime that's going to ultimately impact the world so significantly that blah, 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 blah. I've been told all the things as to why they might respect what I'm doing, but that it won't be successful. And I just respectfully disagree. I think the world can change in an instant. That's a bold statement. I mean, obviously, it's easier to change for the worse in an instant, truthfully, which is unfortunate. Just like anything else, when it comes to positive progress, it takes time to build the muscle. It takes time to build the habits and the routines and create the practices that work for us. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. And that also doesn't mean that we can't see it in our lifetime. This is about how we choose to show up every single day for ourselves, for our communities, the people around us, people who need light and love and healing, and somebody to be their voice and somebody to be the example of light and love and what that can look like in the world. So, what does that look like in the world when we're leaning into that? How do you spread love? Some examples from my own experience and ways of walking in love and life is I'm going to give you a bunch of random examples, and you can that's just meant to inspire you. You can find your own lanes, or you can borrow some of these if they work for you. But one basic practice that I've leaned into very early on in life is to compliment people as much as possible. If you think something nice about somebody in your head, say it out loud every single time. Most of the time it's received very well. Sometimes people don't know how to accept a compliment, and that's fine. You just might be a little awkward, but if that's the worst thing that comes from spreading love, then I'll take it. So giving a compliment to somebody. Oh my gosh, I love your nails, or that hairstyle is so cute on you, or oh my gosh, I love your outfit, or that color is so flattering to you. Something simple, like anything that might make somebody's day. Especially if you're genuinely thinking it, go ahead and share it. Sometimes I'll say things even if I don't 100% love the shirt that you're wearing, but I think the color suits you. I'll say, "Oh my gosh, I love your shirt. That color suits you so well." Just something small to make people smile, because you never know what people are going through and how much those little random acts of kindness could completely change somebody's day for the better, or just be a word that they needed to hear. So that's one example. Just say nice things to people. Another example of spreading love and being kind is I carry in the back of my car a case of water, snacks, winter clothes, and hygiene products for people who may be on the street and maybe needing some of those things. So I keep little wellness packages in the back of my car to hand out to people who are at stoplights when I'm driving, or in communities that are currently houseless. So that's just, and I got all those things at the dollar store. It doesn't have to be super expensive. It's things that you can accrue one-on-one over time or in whatever way you're able to give. And that's something easy for me. It's nice to communicate with those people. Also, I feel like there's a stigma around people who are houseless, and a lot of people are avoidant of them. And I can understand why. If somebody's actively tweaking or being crazy, like maybe don't approach them. But a lot of the times, from my own experiences, I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 times, people are so kind and so appreciative and so grateful that you're looking out for them, that you're treating them like a human, and that you're giving them some kindness and some supplies. Like, it's so easy. It takes you just a couple minutes, if even that, and you genuinely impacted somebody's life for the better who has it way worse than you. So that's another example. Another example that's a little bit on a bigger scale for myself as somebody who's a healer was starting a business around the skill sets that I believe I have to be helpful for people to honor and hold love within themselves and integrate it into their life for the best outcomes for themselves, and teach them how to give and receive love within themselves and for other people. So that's a bigger example of starting a business. To go from giving compliments to starting a big business is a big jump, but those are just some examples of how I like to show up in the world and lean into the things that I'm comfortable and capable of doing to give love. And I've taken the time to consider what makes me comfortable, what my skill sets are, and on what terms I want to offer love. And I think that's powerful, to be able to accept life to be on your own terms. Showing love, I think, also is a lot about community and supporting local businesses, small business owners, supporting like events that are going on in your communities, showing up, showing out, being wise with where we put our financial support in this economy. That's a little bit of a political stance too, which we don't have to get into here, but love is intentional, or at least it should be. Yes, you can turn it on like a faucet and let it flow and just give love and hugs and high fives and smiles to people all day long, which is awesome. And I tend to be that person. But it's also about being intentional. Like, why am I giving this love to this person? What is it about this person or this community, this event, this environment that I'm wanting or willing to give love to? And typically you're able to answer that pretty quickly, because when it comes out of you so naturally, it's aligned for some reason, you're meant to for some reason. So to bring this conversation back, I just want to say that in summation, even though things are incredibly difficult, and it's completely valid to lose track of light and love and hope, this is just a reminder that even though you may have lost track of it, it's not actually gone. And that you yourself can be an example of what love is, what it looks like, how powerful it can be, and directly impacts communities around you for the better. Everybody needs some love and some kindness and some light right now. Remember that. It's not just you that's feeling heavy. It's not just you that's being impacted. It's not just you in this horrible situation. And the more that we can all choose to show up and love each other is how we're going to get through this. And not just get through this like put your head down and ram through it. I'm talking get through it and overcome it and be on the other side of it in more favorable outcomes for us than for the opposers and the suppressors. So that's the point of today's conversation, is to remember that love still exists even when you're losing all hope for it. And the best thing that we can do is be the example ourselves to inspire the people around us and raise the vibrations ourselves, one at a time, and communities at a time, and to imagine how much better the world would be when we're able to operate in a place of love and connection and genuine respect and care for each other. And even on the other side of the difficult times that we're in currently, that there is a better world waiting for us, not just here in America, but as a whole collective of mankind. I do believe that there's a very high possibility that our timeline works out to be for the better for everyone, but that is completely dependent on how we choose to show up in the meantime. So this is just one voice of many trying to inspire the positive change that can happen here, and to be examples of what can happen and how we continue to show up for each other in love and in light, with hope and strength and belief and trust that everything's going to be okay. That's something that I genuinely believe. If you find yourself struggling with that belief, I can understand why. And if you need support, I would love to work with you. I specialize in personal empowerment, life coaching, Reiki energy healing, and would love to help you feel your best self and to help you find the best path forward in creating a better world for yourself and the world around you. If you would like to connect with me, I would love to connect with you. You can find me online on almost any major social media platform like TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sky Haven Healing. You can also reach out to me directly at love@skyhavenhealing.com. That is my professional business email, which I check frequently. So if you find yourself having any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, or just want to communicate in general, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for all of your time today, thus far, and for listening. Hopefully you took something positive away from this episode. It's a conversation I feel we'll probably expand on a little bit further in the future, but this was just supposed to be a general message around love and how to lean into it, especially in dark times. So if you take anything away from today, I hope it's that. Don't lose hope. Love still exists, and you can be an example of that. That is going to be all for me today, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Do something kind for yourself and for somebody else. And I will talk to y'all next time. I love you. Bye.